Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of EconDomics. And today we're going to be talking about credit. What is credit? What is it used for? How is it calculated? And what's the importance of a good score? So, to start, credit is simply receiving something without giving payment first. And a credit score is just a number that indicates to a lender how likely they are to get their money back, which makes sense if you think about it. If you loan out money, you want to know you're going to get your money back. And a FICO credit score ranges from 300 to 850. Now, the kinds of things you'll need credit for, the obvious ones are going to be getting a loan for a car, a mortgage, credit card. Your credit score can change things like your limit, your interest rate, and depending on the kind of card you get, some other factors. You're also going to need a good credit score if you're going to apply for a rental, apartment, or house, and even some jobs will run your credit. There's really only 5 factors that go into calculating a credit score, with the largest one being payment history. Lenders want to know if you make your payments on time, and that actually makes up for the majority of your score at 35%. Next, it's going to be the amounts owed on your credit. So, an example of this is let's say you have 2 credit cards, both with a $5,000 limit. In example 1, credit card 1 is maxed out at $5,000, but the second one you haven't touched at all. That would put you at 15% for your credit utilization rate. Now, in example 2, if you have $2,500 on both cards, but you're still at $5,000 out of $10,000 used, you're still at 15%. Now, of course, if you have 0 out of 10,000, you have $0 used, so your credit amount owed is really low, increasing your score because now you get the full 30%. Next will be the length of credit at 15%. That's just something that comes with time. And the last two are worth 10% each at credit mix and new credit. So as you can see, we definitely have an 80-20 going on here, where 80% of your score is coming from 3 things. And some stuff you're not going to need credit for is if you're just going to buy something in straight cash, because there's no financing needed. You're only going to need credit when there's financing involved. For the examples we're going to go into, I use this right here for some indicators on the numbers. We're going from bad credit to fair credit, good credit to excellent credit, just to show the importance between excellent to bad or any range in between. And you're probably thinking, I have an okay credit score. And people really fall into one of 3 categories, which is going to be no credit, poor credit, or good credit. And unfortunately, credit's one of those things where if you have no credit, it's just as bad as poor credit, because you're going to be in the bad to fair range. But I'll show you that right now. For our first example of how much good credit to bad credit will cost you, we're going to take the case of financing a $15,000 car over the next 6 years. Now, before I get into the numbers, I do want to point out, I made these rates up. I'm not a lender and I did not talk to one, and I would imagine that these rates are more on the conservative end. So if you had an excellent credit score on the financing of a $15,000 car, your monthly payment would come out to $214.73, with the amount that you'd pay over the next 6 years being $15,460.53. So you only have $460 of interest there. However, if you have a bad credit score and you got a rate of 4.5%, your new monthly payment comes out to $238.11, which doesn't sound too bad either. It's only about $20 more from the excellent score, but your total payment is going to come out to $17,143.92, which again, in this example, does not sound too bad. It's only a difference of $1,600.83. To put things more in perspective, I think when I got my first car, I was somewhere in the good range, and my rate was about an 8.5, meaning my payments came out to about $266 every month, and I think the amount I financed was even less. But if we did the same rate on this car, this is what I lost out over 6 years here, that's a good amount of money. It's just $3,700 for the same amount of car that I could have saved just by having a better credit score. Now, for the next example, let's get into a bigger purchase such as a house and show you the real importance of a great credit score. For our second example, we're going to take the case of financing $200,000 on a house over the next 30 years. And again, I made these rates up. I am not a lender and I did not talk to one. And we simply got the numbers on this side of the board by plugging them into a financial calculator. This is just to show the importance between excellent and bad credit scores over the next 30 years. And in this example, if you had an excellent rate of 3%, financing $200,000, your monthly mortgage payment would be $843.21. Now that, if we paid it over the next 30 years, would mean that you were paying just a little over $303,000 for your house, which is pretty fair. Now let's compare that to the bad credit example here, with a rate of 7.5%. Your monthly payment comes out just shy of $1,400, with your total payment being a little over $503,000. To put the monthly payment in perspective, that's a difference between $555. You were paying for your car in the last example, just in the difference right there. And if that's not shocking, let's look at the difference between this and that, which is just shy of $200,000, or the original amount that we financed. You paid for a second home on interest payments alone here. That is crazy. Like, no one ever told me this growing up, but having a really bad credit score costs you a fortune. Yeah. So you're probably thinking, all this sounds good, but what kinds of things can we do right now to help boost our credit? And I don't know if boost was the right word there, but I like using credit cards because they fulfill 3 out of the top 5 things that go into credit. Getting a credit card, you're going to have payment history because you should be paying your credit card. If you keep your amounts low, that's the other 30%. And length of credit, you can pretty much have a credit card for the rest of your life. So that'd be pretty long length of credit right there. And on the same note there, the kinds of things that will hurt your credit would be not paying your bills, or running up your credit cards, or even canceling your credit cards because your length of credit stopped. And that's the funny thing about credit. To get more credit, you got to show the lenders you don't really need it. Well, that's it for today's video. If this changed your perspective on credit, please write a comment down below and send it to a friend. And like always, like, comment, subscribe, everyone. Thank you, and have a great day.